So, hello, I'm Samantha Bryant. I think you've met me before. Tonight I'm doing a reading from Congregate, and I was going to read a little bit from the short story I have in this anthology, Hindsight's 2020. So this anthology came about in kind of a funny way. It was a bunch of authors who all had a bad ending with the same publisher. And so we decided, as kind of a recovery project, we'd work together on an anthology, and the stories were all supposed to be on the theme of regret. So the story is called I Should Have Known, and it's a little bit of a horror story. And it's different for me in terms of other things that I've written, in that it's in first person. And I would say it's unusual for me to write horror, but that doesn't seem to be true anymore. I've written a lot more horror. So, I should have known. If I knew then what I know now, I like to think I would have done it differently, that I would have found a better way. But knowing is not believing. If I knew then what I know now, would I have believed it? No, I don't think I would. I hardly believe it now. Would it have made a difference? The end result would be the same. I would still be standing here, red to the elbows, dripping with gore. You would still be lying there, in pieces. In peace? I have no idea. I can only hope, my Louisa. Maybe if I knew then what I know now, I would have acted sooner. I could have saved us both some suffering. But then again, hope is dangerous. You might have suffered even more as I tried to save you, torturing you with cures and useless experiments, and torturing myself with an endless cycle of hope and disappointment, guilt and apologies. As it was, by the time I admitted there was a problem, that you really were becoming something else entirely, and not just sick or suffering from delusions, there remained little enough to try. I could kill you, or I could let you kill me. I thought about it. It would have been easier, probably, but I would only be the first in a long line of victims. That meant I had to stop you. I told myself it was better that it was me, someone who loved you and remembered the woman you had been, my beautiful and loving Louisa, the gentlest and kindest of souls. So because I loved you, I killed you. The work is not yet done. Now that the adrenaline has faded, I'm left shaking and cold. It's hard to see through the tears that keep filling my eyes. But you deserve peace, and if I don't finish the job, we'll both just have to do this again. Not everything you kill stays dead. I need to make sure. Mother Magda's stories had been true after all, though she lied about the transformation coming as punishment for theft or lying. You never lied to me, and the only thing you've ever stolen was my heart. I find your heart, tugging it free from the ruin of your chest. It slips from my hands and lands wetly at my feet with a horrible splat that makes me cry aloud. I almost lose all my resolve in that moment. It would be so easy to fall to my knees and weep myself into hysteria and eventual oblivion. But I don't get off that easy. I can't be sure which of the stories are true, so I will follow all the lore. Wiping my trembling hands down my ruined skirts to dry them, I crouch and again grasp your heart. This time I'm able to place it in the prepared box, a heavy leaden compartment lined in paper soaked in holy water. I fancy your heart moves in my hands. I pray it was only the pressure of my own grip that gave the illusion of a pumping motion, that there is still time to take all the precautions that will keep you still for eternity. I don't have the strength to kill you again. I pull the silver needle from my hair and plunge it into the meatiest part of the organ, skewering it to the cushioned lining beneath the blessed paper. I salt the meat, as if your heart were a treat I would savor this winter, and close the iron case, locking it tight. Later, I will bury it in the churchyard, hallowed ground. Now, I can't go too much further without spoiling the entire story, because it's quite short. But there you go, a taste of Hindsight's 2020, which was a little more brutal than my experience with that publisher.